Okay. Welcome to the Hope Unlocked podcast. I'm Kristen Kurtz, your host. I pray this episode is like a holy IV of hope for your soul. Please help me welcome Steve Warmer to the show. Very excited to have him here today. I know that this is going to be good because we are on round two to get this going. So before we get into your story and what you're up to these days, would you just be open to sharing a little bit about yourself?
Listen, thanks so much for having me. It's great to be
Yeah.
here today.
Yeah.
Yep, I have been married for 30 years in a couple of weeks, and I have three children, which, if we have time, which hopefully we will,
Yeah.
pretty amazing God story about how we started our family.
Yeah.
I've been a pastor for 15 years. We live in Memphis, Tennessee presently. Love the deep South, but have lived in the Midwest also.
Okay.
Let's see, what else? Love the outdoors, love to swim, love to go to the gym, love the ocean, love the mountains, love our dogs. That's probably a good start.
I love that. Well, we definitely have time to hear your stories about your kids. Do you want to go there first?
You want to go there
I
first?
think we should. Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think if I want to go Cliff Notes or somewhere in between that and a long version, but I'll
Yeah.
see. We'll do a hybrid.
See what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a lot of folks, my wife and I experienced several miscarriages fairly
Mm.
early on in our
Yeah.
marriage. I think we ended up having five
Oh
in
my
the
God.
first 6 years of our marriage.
Oh wow.
And the truth is, I wasn't mature enough to process that in a healthy way, let alone try to help her process
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
And we got into some marital trouble, not because of that. But a couple of years later, we got into some deep marital issues.
Hmm.
Praise God that what I tell people all the time about that is He not only saved our marriage, but He saved our souls in the process because we weren't Christians at that time.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And this is like '04,
Okay.
and shortly after becoming Christians in '04, we started praying about adoption.
Oh.
And eventually, like '06,
Yeah.
we found an agency, we went through all their training. You go through foster training classes because that's a requirement. Home studies, photo shoots,
Mhm.
bios. I mean, all this stuff that I'm describing really quick, it takes a lot of time, actually.
Okay. I got it.
And we were picked very early on from a mother that was 7 months pregnant, and she loved us. We loved her family. My wife went to all her remaining medical appointments, and she eventually, on the third day in the hospital, changed her mind and decided to keep her baby girl. Crazy as that is, best day of our lives spiritually. We were that surrendered going into that situation.
Okay.
Um, But we'll move past that for time's sakes for now. We went
Okay.
on to have six adoptions that did not work out. And going into year five, our adoption agency called me at work one day and said, basically, we're going to close your case. We're going to move on. The adoption agency fired us.
Oh my
And I'm
gosh.
like, what's this all about?
Yeah.
Never got a reason why. We've got our suspicions on what our age was at that time may have played a factor, but they can't tell you that, of course.
Oh, gotcha.
I think I was 42 at the time.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I remember calling my wife from work and saying, I'm exhausted from this.
Mm.
And we're in year five, and it's worse than starting over because now we're invested and we're exhausted and we don't have an adoption agency, we don't have any leads.
Yeah.
And 48 hours later, God gave us another lead. Now, did that situation work out? No, but He did this the whole 5 years. When one would not work out, He would present another opportunity like within days.
So it
And
just kept you going, right?
He's sustaining us. Yep, that's
Hmm.
exactly right.
Hmm.
And we were praying for one child.
Yeah.
And I've given you, a couple of minutes worth of roller coaster type ride here. God gave us three at one time.
Three at one time.
God gave us three children at one time. Now, there was some context to that, obviously. There was the older two are a full sibling brother and sister
Okay.
that were being they were in foster care, and a couple in our church was providing that foster care for them. And then they were four and two, two and a half. And then the youngest was from a whole different situation in the church. He was 1 month old, but they came to us within 48 hours. I mean, same time, basically.
Oh man.
And our world was turned upside down for the better, needless to say.
Okay, I have so many questions.
Sure.
Okay. So at this time you're pastoring?
No,
Not yet?
there's more
Okay, so that's
that
later.
comes. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Like were you prepared for, I mean, you were prepared for this, but how were you prepared for this? How did this work out? Like you said yes. We were talking a little bit about this before we got started, and when we say yes to something, like how were you prepared for this yes? What did that look like for your yes?
Well, I mean, there's a yes and no to that, right? I mean, is anybody ever prepared fully to be a parent, right? You
Right,
learn as you go. So
right.
I'm assuming your question is, were you ready for
It's
three?
multifaceted, right? Like, give us the real deal here.
But here's the truth of that. We would look at each other, and there's more to this story than we have time for the whole thing. But
Mhm.
the older two, we were providing some respite care for the foster family. So they were coming to us on the weekends. We were developing a rapport with them. We
Okay.
knew the situation with the biological parents. We knew it was iffy. And sometimes things would start to show that was a possibility. And we'd look at each other and it's like, is God trying to do these two right here? And then what I haven't said yet is the youngest that came to us when he was a month old,
Hmm.
he was the son of friends of ours in the church whose 19-year-old was pregnant, and we had
Okay.
had dinner with her, and she had already told us, I'm going to probably try to mother him, but I'm really torn. I don't know if I can do it. If I don't do it, I promise you, you guys are going to be the parents. So it was, but
Okay.
all of this is volatile, right?
Right.
And so as things started to progress with each situation, we would catch ourselves eating dinner like, is it going to be these two? We'd look and like, well, it doesn't look like those two are happening right now. I mean, it was up and down constantly. And we'd be like, is it the young one? An unborn one?
Right.
And then I remember one specific time based
Yeah.
on new developments. I looked at my wife and I said, you don't think God's trying to do all three, do you? And we were like, we better pray. We better get surrendered, maybe. And
Yeah.
that's eventually what he did.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So you're bringing them all home at one time. What did that look like? Give us like the first month. Like, how did
Oh
you?
my gosh. Well, I remember our youngest, Michael, 1 month old.
Hmm.
He came into our house first, and he was a newborn. And
Hmm.
I remember we took him in his stroller to Tennessee Child Services office, where they were having a meeting with us for about 2 hours and showing us the binders that they had on the other two children. And it's basically everything they know, everything you need to know. And basically, do you choose to accept this mission?
Wow.
It goes back to what we talked about. Are you going to say yes?
Hmm.
And we said yes. I mean, we've been praying about this for years, so it's kind of a
Right.
no-brainer
Yeah,
in a
you're
way.
prepared
Yeah, as
in
much
some
as you
ways.
can
In
be.
some ways, yeah.
And then those two, I think, gosh, it's been a while, but I think they came into our house. I think they came into our house the next day or within 48 hours of that meeting. Yeah, it
Wow.
was crazy time.
Wow. So, those first few years, like tell us some, I don't know, testimonies because I I can only imagine like coming out of the foster care system, like did they have any like I've heard of people having like some attachment, detachment, any struggles that you guys faced as new parents and trying to parent these children?
Well, the short answer is absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, I've the youngest, no, obviously, because he's a newborn and he's
Yeah.
going to attach to us right away. Um, the other two were 4 and 2.5, and without going into a ton of detail, I can tell you that my daughter, who's the oldest, saw things that were horrific,
Mm,
um, likely things done to her
mm,
that are more horrific, and it's affected her for life.
mm.
And there's some current events that I don't want to go into too
Yeah.
much, but
Yeah.
it's impacted her for life.
Yeah.
And it's funny how that works without us getting too far down the road of the rewiring of the brain and that whole conversation. My son, that's 2.5, he attached to us pretty quickly. I mean, there was a little adjustment there for him, but it's like that, and I'm not smart enough, maybe one of your listeners knows more about this, but like he attached at 2.5. She was 4 by the time the adoption was final. And it's like that year and a half made all the difference in terms of attachment or not attachment, if that makes sense. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, there was some typical things like hoarding food.
Mm,
There was some night terrors in the
okay.
middle of the night. There was some social awkwardness and social behavior
Hmm.
early on that had to be addressed consistently. So yeah,
Okay.
so I don't know exactly what you've heard, but a lot of it's probably true.
Yeah. Well, what would you say to, we have, I don't know how many children are in the foster, care system right now, but I'm sure that there's, maybe some potential parents who might be listening into this today that have thought about it. What would you say to them?
Oh, there's so many places I could go with that. Well, first of all, I used to know the stat. I don't know, I'm sure it's changed, but a few years ago, there was 153 million orphans in the world. And if you took the 153 million at this time, maybe 5, 6 years ago, and you made them their own country, they would be the ninth largest country in the world.
Oh my God.
That's staggering. I think you're probably asking more specifically about foster children in the States, though. Um, we sometimes say that we are probably not the greatest couple to ask if you're looking for a couple
Really?
that's, well, I mean, look at our journeys. Like, do you really want to go through all of that?
Well, you've gone through it though, and sometimes it takes somebody going ahead of somebody else.
Not everybody wants to do that, though.
I
But
know.
but
I know.
but there's a place I'm trying to get with this.
Mhm.
It has been the experience of a lifetime. It has stretched our faith like nothing else.
Mm.
Our intimacy with God, our surrender to God,
Mhm.
our trust in God. Um, Talk about testing the patience. It's done that for sure.
Yeah.
But God is faithful,
Mm.
and God is an immeasurably more God.
Yeah.
And our story, his story through us, is one of many examples. Praying for one, he gave
Yeah.
us three.
Three. Yeah.
And if adoption is on your heart, be wise, be discerning, do what's right for your family.
Mhm.
Do not try to do it without God,
Yeah.
and wait in great expectation of what he's going to do. It is, you didn't ask me this, Kristen, but it is more than worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Those children
Yeah.
are not my blood, they are our heart. And
Mm.
you can't tell me they're not my kids. They're God's kids first,
Yeah.
just like biological parents, if you think about it.
Yeah.
They're God's children first and our children second to take care of.
So good. You have so much wisdom there to share with people. Um, what like as you journeyed, like, because how old are they now?
19, 17, and 15.
Wow. So if they were to come on here and just say like what would they love? What have they loved most about being your kids?
Well, the 19-year-old wouldn't say that.
Not right, maybe not today, but
That's a whole
later.
nother conversation.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what would they say specifically? What?
What would they say about like what have they loved most about being your kids?
Um, I think the boys would definitely say, because I've seen this on cards recently, that they couldn't have asked for better mom and dad. Now, trust me, I'm not all that in a bag of chips. My wife, maybe,
Yeah.
she's a saint. Um, Trust me, I've made so many mistakes, but I'm answering your question, what they
We
would
all
say.
do. Yeah.
Um, I think they're extremely grateful. They know they're loved, they know they're taken care of. And quite frankly, they've seen us go through it's not like the wilderness stopped just when we got them. They've
Right.
seen us go through a lot. And we are in the ministry now, and they've seen that take a toll on us also. So
Mhm.
they see that life,
Yeah,
and yet they still are grateful, resilient, and appreciative of us. And I see God in that too.
that's so good. Well, you mentioned a word that the wilderness. Tell us about that. So tell us a little bit about whatever you're led to share as far as the wilderness goes. I know there's a lot of people that really feel like they're in a wilderness season, and it's kind of been a prolonged wilderness season in relation to people I've talked to recently. Would you be open to sharing, maybe what that word means to you and the experience that you've had in walking it out?
Yeah, how much time you got? I can tell you all about the wilderness. I've,
I know, and we
I
could talk forever. I know. I could share with you too. Yeah.
yeah, the wilderness. I think I have a frequent flyer program to the wilderness. Um, the wilderness, from my perspective, is where God takes you to prune you, to mature you, and it feels like when you're in it, especially in the middle of it, it feels like it's crushing.
Yeah.
It feels like it's hard to breathe. It feels confined. It feels hopeless.
Mm,
But notice the word I used,
yeah.
feels,
Mhm.
emotional.
Mhm.
And then I read 2 Corinthians 4:8. I'm not crushed. I'm not abandoned.
Mhm.
So the facts are, scripture says I'm not those things.
Right.
So scripture helps me get out, or well, it helps me get out, but it helps me grow while I'm in it.
Hmm.
And it helps me when I'm in it to, obviously we're praying, right? God, help me with this, help me to be faithful for whatever this wilderness is, whatever I'm supposed to learn.
Hmm.
It helps me, and we learned this during the adoption process,
Hmm.
to praise him in advance. And I can even give you an example of that if we have time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was right around that time. I'm taking you back to the adoption journey for just a minute when we were going into year 5 and our adoption agency had parted ways with us. And
Hmm.
after I got past the initial sting of it,
Yeah.
and then God brought another situation to us that didn't work out, but he kept sustaining us. I said to my wife, this is going to happen. And I said it with more confidence. I said, this is going to happen. And now I'm convinced it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Now, I didn't know it was going to be 3.
Right.
Um,
Or how many?
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I started looking at Joshua 3 a little closer.
Mm.
And the whole story's great, right? About God parting the second generation. He parted, for the Israelites, he parts the Jordan River.
Hmm.
Now there's obedience needed in that. He says to Joshua, have the priests step foot in the water first.
Hmm.
And once they did, he did. God always does the heavy lifting. He parted the waters, right?
Hmm.
And then we move forward. There's the stones of remembrance
Hmm.
for the different tribe leaders. And
Yeah.
then we eventually get to chapter 6. And we've got the walls of Jericho, the double fortified walls,
Hmm.
the guards on top, they're armed to the hilt, all their artillery's up there.
Hmm.
And God says to Joshua, now keep in mind, he's coming off this major victory, and they've got the
Right.
stones of remembrance in their pocket, so to speak, as a
Mhm.
reminder.
Yeah.
And it's just like us, right? They got through one challenge, and here's another one.
Hmm.
And God says to Joshua in verse 2, see, I've already delivered the walls of Jericho into your hands. I don't know about you, Kristen,
They're
but
like,
like it doesn't tell us how Joshua felt about that, but he's
hmm.
human. I mean, I would imagine at least internally,
Yeah.
he's like, no, I don't see how you've delivered me. There's still double fortified walls. There's still guards up there with artillery.
Right.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
But here's the point. It wasn't until a verse later, in verse 3, that
Hmm.
God gave him the crazy, what we think was crazy, instructions that
Right.
he wanted Joshua to obey,
Yeah.
that God would deliver him. What's the point in all that? The promise comes before the instructions sometimes.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I've learned to hold on to that in other wilderness seasons. And now
Yeah.
I have evidence, because I've
Yeah.
lived it,
Yeah.
that he will bring us out eventually when he's ready.
Yeah. And I mean, just even, from the wilderness to the promised land, right? And it's interesting, Joshua and Caleb, I love them. They're like not part of the 10 spies network. They're like, you guys just talk amongst yourself. But, you come into the promised land and there's still giants, right?
Yep.
We're gonna face giants in the promised land as well. So I love that visual of, I haven't thought of it that way before of, yep, hey, take a look. There's the wall. Like you're here. Do you see what I see? Not really. Like I haven't thought about it that deeply before. So when you are coming up against a wall, like let's just say you're walking through something even right now, for example. What is your first, like what's your first reaction? You're like, God's saying, oh yeah, wall's down. You're like, there's a wall here. So what is your first line of defense or offense or however you'd want to put it? Like really standing on that promise. What do you do? Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm like, what? Like, what, God? Like, really? How do you have like that? How's your moment go? That first moment.
First moment. Um, I try not to overreact
Hmm.
because you're whatever it is, right? It's gonna feel like to us, there's that emotional part again.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
gonna feel like a punch to the gut.
Yeah.
Okay, that hurt.
Hmm.
Okay, let's be honest. That stinks.
Yeah.
That's my first. That's
Right.
your short answer. That stinks.
Yep. Yep.
But then I try to fairly quickly, and that's subjective what fairly
Yeah.
quickly is.
Hmm.
I try to fairly quickly not stay there. Okay.
Hmm.
How can I pivot from this stinks to God will work this out for my good? How can I choose gratitude
Hmm.
even in this stinky situation?
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
And it
No.
doesn't happen. I don't know the person that does it instantaneously. Um, but as we grow, I think we can make that choice hopefully a little more consistently
Yeah.
and a little quicker than we used to.
Yeah. That I think that's a key
It's
too. Like, and I just feel like somebody might, I've talked to people lately and they feel shame for, being upset that this happened and I had a reaction to this and I should not be feeling this way. What would you say to that person? Like, they're having this emotion and they feel like I shouldn't be feeling this way. I'm a believer. I should just be fine with everything that comes my way. Do you feel like that's a lie that a lot of people grapple with?
Yeah, because it's shame involved, and that's where the enemy wants us.
Mhm.
My input to that person would be go get it out. Go get it out. Go on a walk and
Mhm.
scream. Go grab a pillow and scream into it.
Mhm.
Go wrestle with God about it. Let him have it.
Mhm.
He's big. He can handle it.
Yeah.
He knows. Yeah, don't stuff it.
Yeah.
Don't try to be super Christian.
Right.
Process it. Go through it.
Mhm.
Go through it.
Yeah.
And you'll come out okay. He's
That's
got
good.
you.
Yes, that's so good. Okay, well, I want to speed ahead to where you're a pastor. How did you come into being a pastor?
Well, you can't speed ahead too far on that because the crazy thing about that is go back to the kids.
Okay.
Keep in mind we're in a local congregation where our 400 plus brothers and sisters have been praying about this with us for 5 years.
Okay.
And we walk in that Sunday morning and there's jaws dropped. There's tears being shed.
Yeah.
And service is over that particular Sunday, first Sunday with the kids.
Okay.
They're not even legally ours yet. You got to wait 6 months before you can legally adopt them.
Oh, wow.
And that's I don't know if that's a law everywhere. It probably is, but I know it is in Tennessee.
Okay.
And I get approached specifically by one of our elders saying, I know you've been praying about the ministry also, which I haven't told you. He says, we have an opportunity for you. We'd like you to pray about it and get back to us on. And that was the beginning of us going into the ministry. And that was 15 years ago, the same week the kids came into our house. We were then shopping my pickup truck for a trade in for a minivan. I kid you not. So I know you wanted to speed ahead, but that had to
So it's
still
all, yeah,
have
I'm
context.
thinking there was some time like
Nope.
wow. So
Well, yes and no. The opportunity he presented to us, it wasn't a paid opportunity. It was a chance to serve our sister church that was about an hour and change away from where we lived. But it was a chance for me to preach every week, to fellowship with them, kind of be their point of contact in emergency situations.
okay.
So it got me experience preaching and shepherding from afar.
Okay.
And then that eventually parlayed itself into full-time ministry a couple of years later.
Okay. Now, had you ever thought that you would be a pastor even growing up? Or, I mean, it sounds like you became a Christian at what age?
Yeah. First answer is no. I was total pagan. My joke about that was I was a pedestrian, if you know that denomination. Pedestrian, walker. You just walk, a pedestrian. Yeah, that's my joke.
That's great. I love it.
Um,
I'm gonna have to
total
use that one.
pagan, total pagan. Just knew a couple of big stories in the Bible.
Mm.
And yeah, I became a Christian late. It was a month before my 35th birthday.
Okay. Wow. I love this. All right. So you're pastoring, you're shepherding from afar, you've got kids, a lot of transition happening all at one time, and you're still pastoring. And do you have your own church now?
Yeah, I've had yeah, we've been doing it for 15 years total in the church where we're at now in Memphis. We've been here. Gosh, that's hard to believe. We just yeah, just crossed over 6 years this month.
Wow. What do you love most about it? You came into it in 2020.
Here in Memphis, 2020. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Um,
you
well,
were born for adventure.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a couple of phrases that I could
Yep.
use. Um, I love serving people. I love helping people. I love communicating the gospel with people.
Mm,
Um, it's wonderful to have a front row ticket to the scriptures changing a life, whether
mm,
that be somebody coming to the Lord for the first time, or
yeah.
quite frankly, somebody that's gotten off the path a little bit
Mm,
and scriptures reconvict them and they get back on their journey. That's the fun part. That's because we know God's doing the heavy lifting and I'm just a vessel. I have a front row seat to what he's
yeah.
doing.
That amazing. And how about your wife as a pastor's wife? How has that been for
Well, she for all these years was even on staff with me until last year. From a pastor's wife perspective, it can be a challenge. It can be a challenge because people in general tend to put leaders on pedestals, even though we ask them not to or don't
you?
want to be, because it's easy to you're an easy target once you're up in the air on a pedestal like that.
Sure. Yeah.
So she has seen that happen, sometimes warranted, sometimes unwarranted, and that's hard to watch your husband go through.
Mm,
And then there's kind of those subtle, unexpressed expectations of her too, which is not always easy to meet a moving target. So,
yeah.
but she's supportive, and we're a team, and I wouldn't try to do it without her. That's for sure.
Yeah. So what do you like? What do you love most about being a pastor?
I think it was that
People.
answer
The
of
people mostly.
seeing lives change, seeing the
Mhm.
scriptures change people's lives. Yeah.
Yeah. What would be like a really cool testimonial of somebody who came into your church that was transformed through walking through those
Mm,
doors?
um, it's back a few years. It's a young man who um broken home. Um, trying to think how much detail I want to give. He
Yeah.
broken home,
Mhm.
um, poverty, anger, anger at a specific member of his family that physically abused him.
Mm,
I've seen his back before, and it's hard to even see it because of the belt lashes.
oh my gosh.
And watching scriptures move his heart to seeing that even though his earthly father left a lot to be desired, to say the
Mhm.
least,
Mhm.
that he embraced our heavenly father,
Mm,
understanding that he would never treat him like that.
yeah. Yeah.
And so he was a remarkable story.
Wow. Well, thank you for doing what you do. I can't as somebody who has never been a pastor, I can imagine I see you as somebody who has just a huge heart, and I can imagine like the shepherding and the the feelings, the everything that comes along with, wanting to help people, right? And I think it's just incredible. So I know that beyond being a pastor, you're up to some really cool things as well. Do you want to share kind of the journey into the more that God's called you into as well?
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, a couple of years ago, I started doing some deep mindset work, and you would think a pastor would understand that mindset work and faith go hand in hand, not these separate entities, the way I apparently viewed them for a
Yeah.
number of years.
Yeah.
Hello, Romans 12, 1 and 2, right there in my face.
Okay.
But anyway,
Yeah.
uh, as I started to do deeper mindset work,
Hmm.
this word unworthy kept popping up.
Mm.
And I knew it wasn't true. I knew it was the enemy's lie. I knew the origin of it back
Hmm.
back a long, long time ago in my family history.
Hmm.
The problem was I knew it here, but not here.
Hmm.
And as I started to have some consistent victories in the mindset area,
Yeah.
I developed the You Are Worthy network that you see on my screen there. And it's a private Facebook group, and it was a rebuttal to my own mindset. And it's basically the premise of am I worthy? No, not I'm not anything special until Jesus died on the cross. The
Mm.
blood made us worthy.
Hmm.
And I tell people all the time their story's not done yet. So I created this
Yeah.
podcast, so to speak, that God has blessed back to Ephesians 3:20,
Yeah.
more than I could ask or imagine. And I interview different folks, a lot of entrepreneurs, but some people with just amazing stories
Hmm.
on what they've overcome and times where they, didn't feel worthy. And it's really been blessed. And
Yeah.
that's given me some open doors to speak quite a bit virtually. I'm looking to speak more in person on stages. I've got some coaching programs. I'm getting ready to roll out my first collaboration here. Matter of fact, I should have the flyer for that later today.
There you go.
So a lot of exciting things and
Hmm.
events that I'm being invited to, and it's just, it's keep doing what you're called to do, but God's expanding who He wants me to do it for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really good because, in internally, like as a child, even a 20-year-old, even early 30s, you didn't ever expect yourself to be a pastor. But the vehicle to doing, shepherding people, working with people, speaking, it transforms. So now you're doing it in a different way, but you're also pastoring. So yeah, I think it's really amazing how we can walk into something, but it it kind of morphs into something different that you can't, like I talk about this a lot, like you can't make this stuff up.
Mm-mm.
Like 2 years, you said this was 2 years ago you started working on like the mindset work. And how were you led to that? Did you start working with somebody? What was that like moment of like realization, like I need to start working on mindset?
Well, I think it goes back a tad further than 2 years. I wrote my first book 4 years ago, and then I did an ebook pretty quick after that. So, and then at the time, my wife and I had a nonprofit that had a little bit of an entrepreneur canvas to it, and we had done a large workshop for a church in Florida.
Mhm.
So that was all in 2022. So I had had my feet immersed in
Okay.
the water a little bit.
Yeah.
Hadn't maybe swam out there real deep yet,
Okay.
but I started coming into contact with more and more entrepreneurs, and I had a coach at that time.
Hmm.
So there was starting to be quite a few seeds planted. So by the time 2 years, yeah, on the mindset, um, I was ready for the next steps.
Okay.
And I was introduced to a business coach who has a heavy emphasis on mindset and life balance.
Mm.
And it was getting to know her that I realized I had way too many plates spinning, and I had really poor, unhealthy mindset towards finances and towards expansion. And
Okay.
she really helped me with that for quite a while, for almost a year. And
Wow.
I think for general timing, it was kind of at the end of that time with her
Hmm.
that God used, God used me to start this. So there
Yeah.
there was a correlation of time in that for sure.
Okay. What have you loved most about like the entrepreneur journey? I was talking to somebody this week and she said, "Well, I'm not a business person," even though she's being led into business. Did you have any like rebuttals with the Lord? Like, I'm not this. Did you have any moments like that?
Um, oh, well, I had a little business background. I was in corporate back in the late 90s,
Okay.
and this I've been in nonprofits for years and years, but before that, I was over P&L and sales and all those kind of things. So I did have a little bit of a
Hmm.
background with it. And I love the creativity of it. I
Hmm.
love that you get to create your own thing from scratch.
Yeah.
I also love the collaboration and the networking part of it. Like take you and I for example. You and
Yeah.
I were introduced to each other by a mutual friend. I think maybe I don't know 9 months ago, maybe
Yeah.
eight
Yeah.
9 months ago, and you and I've zoomed
Hmm.
4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
I never would have got to meet you if
Yeah.
I wasn't doing the entrepreneur thing. And so I
Yeah.
love that part of it. I know Zoom fatigue is a real thing,
The real thing.
but like I'm meeting people all over the world every
The
week,
real thing.
and I love that part.
Yeah. And that's all about like think of that expansion, right?
Hmm.
You're like on ministry. Like I feel like sometimes even doing this podcast, it's like it's reaching the world. I'm on a mission trip from my office on Zoom. Isn't that incredible?
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and that's what you're doing too. Um, so you mentioned you had a book. What's the name of your book?
The first one was Rivers of Hope. And
I don't know that
um,
I knew that.
yeah, I thought I had it. I thought I had it right here, but apparently I
Rivers
moved it the
of
other day.
Hope. Well, perfect book name for this podcast.
There you go. You're right.
Wow.
It's mostly a public thank you to God for the miracles He's done in my life. And if I had to put a percentage on it, I would say 60% of that book is the adoption story, and then some other miracles that were tossed in after that.
Okay. Is it available everywhere?
It's on Amazon, and you can get it. There's a link to Amazon on stevewormer.com.
Okay. So you just shared your contact information. Could you share your website again with us?
Yeah, it's stevewormer.com, Wormer, Wormer, easy. There won't be any others of those for sure.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Well, I'll have the show note in the show notes, I'll have his website. And would you have any other ways that people can contact you too?
I'm
Maybe
easy
about
to find.
what's your Facebook group all about? Could you just share a little bit more about that?
Uh,
Are you interested in having more people join in?
oh my gosh, yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
open?
well,
The doors are open?
it's a private group,
Okay.
but you can just go to You Are Worthy Network, and most of the time it just lets you straight in if you want to join. Once I don't know. I don't It's not the settings, but sometimes it'll ask for approval and I'll
Okay.
approve you. But love to have you in. Right now there's almost 17,000 of us in there.
Wow. That's
And
a,
but you can find me on LinkedIn and YouTube
yeah.
and all the other places too.
Okay, sounds great. Anything else that you'd like to share with us today? I do this for the one, so I always like our guests to just think of that one who's listening in today. And do you have any other words of wisdom or encouragement for this one listening in today?
I'll leave you with a couple of thoughts. I have a dear friend in California. We talk 5 6 times a week, and we're
Yeah.
both going through some similar struggles right now.
Hmm.
And we like the illustration of your mom baking your favorite cookies.
Hmm.
And if you can think of waiting on the Lord in terms of what He's preparing for you is better than your mom fixing your favorite cookie. And remember when you're a kid and she's doing that, maybe if you're really young, you went and sat in front of the oven and you played with the light. Or maybe when mom went away out of the room, you opened the door and got a good smell. Maybe you even took a little piece off. Who knows, right? But then mom caught you opening the door and said, stop that. You got to wait till they're done. You're
Mm,
slowing down the process by opening and closing the door. And so I know it's a little childlike,
so good.
but it reminds me that he's working on our behalf.
Hmm.
And here's what I'll leave you with this. If you're going through something really, really difficult, and I want to be very compassionate to that, keep going. Don't give up.
Hmm.
Don't go through it alone. That chapter will come to an end.
Hmm.
And some of your best chapters are still being written. You have not seen some of your best days yet. And so keep going. Your story's not over yet. And I can't wait to hear about what the Lord's going to do with your story. Keep going.
That's so good. Thank you. I love how you ended with keep going because those are like my two favorite words to speak over myself and to speak over others. This has been so good. We'll have to have you back another time when there's more expansion happening and you can share more with us. So I'm going to close with the Hope Unlocked anchoring verse. It's may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope. So that's Romans 15:13. And thank you, Steve, for being a brave voice who's setting so many free. I will be back with another episode next week. Thank you, Steve. Have a great
Thanks,
day.
Kristen.